Are you a human being? Are you also a Browns fan? Well, if you said yes to both of those things, then there's a good chance you're probably a little tired of our local Cleveland Brown sports media. Same old thing, day after day, night after night. It's time to hang the cleats up. It's time to pass the torch. If you're looking for something fun, something fresh, something where four people literally smack themselves in the face over and over with hot take after hot take, then my boys at Down with the Browns is where you want to be. It's just good for your soul. Available on Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Twitter. Getting down with the Browns.
And welcome back to another episode of Dine with the Browns.
Let's
What is up,
go.
fellas?
Let's go.
What's up? How we enjoying this Victory Tuesday?
It's amazing.
It's magical, and it's almost like Christmas is early this year.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yep.
dude, just Joe Flacco. Oh, go ahead, Jake. My bad.
I was going to say the same thing you was going to say. Joe Flacco has shocked everybody. You know, a fourth string quarterback. What are the odds of somebody coming in out of nowhere and just resurrecting this offense? Loving the shirt, Dave.
Oh yeah, let's go, Dave.
You know what,
Let's get
Jake?
down
I
with the
apologize.
Browns.
That was disrespectful.
Oh no,
You were
you're fine.
talking,
I love it.
and I'm sorry, man.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, it was a good
Heck
weekend. I did not expect that against Jacksonville. I thought that we were going to probably there towards the end we were going to lose that lead. Something was going to happen because it always happens with us Browns fans. But we somehow held on and won the game. Very, very surprised there at the end. I'm not going to lie to you, especially with some of the calls that were made. I was like, my thoughts were they're going to score and they're going to get this onside kick. This is going to be Jets Part 2 from last year, but it wasn't. So gives us reason to look forward to the next.
What's good, Drew?
What up, Drew?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, Joe Flacco walking in front of the dog pound, playing for the right team this time. You know, he's used to winning there. It was just like a regular Sunday, you know. It was no different than him sitting on the couch just to win in that stadium. So, I mean, just Joe Flacco breaking a record that hasn't happened since 1980 something by Brian Sott, putting up 300 plus yards plus 3 touchdowns on that sorry Jags defense. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Is that real since the 80s?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
That's an actual stat.
We were at a holiday party here for my grandson, and my son was telling me that that's the first time that stat line has happened since the 80s, and I thought he was joking. So we have not had a quarterback throw for 303 tutties?
Yep, in the same game.
And that includes Kozar. That includes Testaverde.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
That includes
includes Spurgeon Wynn?
And like Johnny Manziel.
Spurgeon Wynn.
And Johnny Manziel? You know, honestly, I'm kind of shocked that Baker Mayfield didn't do that.
That's what I told him. I'm shocked Baker didn't do that.
Especially in the playoff year. That is very true. That is very true.
We'll take it. We will take it.
That's for sure. I always take that. But you know, oh crap, my AirPods just switched over on me. Sorry.
Do you hear that?
Can you hear anything? What?
I can hear you.
Okay,
yes,
good. My AirPods
switched on
me.
Good?
Sweet. But yeah, I'm just hyped. I'm just hyped. I mean, Joe Flacco just laying his balls out on the table, leading that Browns to an 8-5 record.
Yep.
Inching closer and closer to an AFC North championship. Or AFC North championship.
AFC.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has to happen, but it is possible, yes.
Hey. It's week 15. There's still a chance.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. The Ravens do have a tough strength of schedule going down the road. They've got to play. I'm pretty sure they play the Dolphins. They have to play the 49ers. And I think they play the Steelers again. So and anything could happen within their next 4 games. Whereas our schedule is somewhat easier. We do have the Bears coming up. We've got the
The Hot
Texans.
Bears.
Who looked pretty good last week.
Yeah, so that's not a gimmick, but it's going to be doable. If we can beat the Jaguars, we can beat the Bears. And we've been unstoppable at home lately. You take out that weird Ravens loss, we're unstoppable at home. You got the Bears, then the Texans on the road, then the Jets on Thursday night prime time, and then you end out the year in Cincy. I feel like if Cincy is not in a position to make the playoffs at that week in the season, we should take care of business. And the Ravens do have a very tough next 4 games coming up. One of those games where they have to travel to San Francisco. And San Francisco right now is the best team in the National Football League. So we
Mhm.
could end up with the same exact record. I don't know that that will happen, but that is very possible. Um, but
Hey,
more possible is the fact that the Browns currently have the number 5 seed. If the playoffs were to
uh-huh.
start this weekend, and they have a chance, a very big chance of making the playoffs, especially if a lot of
Listen,
things go in our favor this week.
Yep.
if when you've got a quarterback, the greatest quarterback to ever walk on this earth than Joe Flacco, humming that pigskin down to Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore and David Njoku and all them boys over there on that offensive side of the ball. It don't matter. No, in if we honestly, if we can just finish the season out as the 5 seed, I'm gonna be ecstatic. With
Yeah.
all the injuries, with everybody that's out, we are now on our third right tackle. James Hudson will be taking over the role, I believe, at right tackle due to Dwan Jones being announced, put on
Yep.
the IR for the rest of the year, as well as
Mhm.
Jed Wills. So we are now without our 2 starting tackles. Um, but we will, I think, who am I thinking of? Who's coming back? Who's coming back?
What do you mean? Who you mean? Who's coming back?
Aren't we getting a lineman back?
I don't think we're supposed to be getting a lineman back because Jed Wills had season-ending surgery.
Oh, so did Mo Hurst. Mo Hurst is also out for the rest of the year.
Yep. I think we now
Um,
have
that
12. Is it 12 on
Yeah.
the IR?
that's insane.
That's a tough list. That is a
Yeah.
tough list.
Oh, Drew with a great point. Alex Leatherwood is an interesting. It's interesting.
Hmm.
Yep, that is an interesting name. I mean, former first round pick out of Alabama went to the Raiders.
Yep.
Um, I don't think anybody on the Raiders really did good at the time that he was picked there. But it would be nice to see him get a shot, maybe. Um, I'm not very confident in James Hudson taking over that role. I mean, he did decent. I'm not gonna say he was at least
Decent.
poop dollar, but I mean, there's if you have a better option, I mean, you got to at least try it a little bit
Yeah.
just to see.
Yep. Well, Cody
But
is smoking some of that newly legalized stuff here in Ohio, apparently.
yeah,
And
Cody's he's
Drew
on one.
said he didn't see Spurgeon win play. He was out overseas in Japan. So where were you stationed at, Drew? Iwakuni or was it Okinawa or what?
Yeah, just let us know, Drew. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options to be weighed out at the tackle position. I mean, honestly, the injury bug, it's just
Mm-hmm.
it, it's just been wild. And there you go, Dave. Drew's comments
Sugi.
right there. Uh,
You're showing your age, Drew.
but but yeah, like it's just there's a lot of options to tackle. I mean, we've just been dealt a bad hand this year. Like you said, Jake, that makes 12 people on the IR, and I think that's just insane to be 8-5 with all these injuries. Most teams would already folded, and it's not like these guys that we were trotting out there are healthy. I mean, we're in week 15. There's going to be some injuries to
Mm-hmm.
guys that are playing a lot. Like Amari Cooper's out there with the busted ribs. Njoku's, I mean, literally got burnt,
Yeah.
and now in trouble with maybe Jerome Ford now being hurt. So
And Delpit.
and Delpit, yeah.
We don't know anything about Delpit yet, but there's a chance that Delpit may have to be on the short list IR as well. On the good end of that, if we make the playoffs, his first game back would be in the playoffs. but we do need him if he's able to play. If he's not able to
Yeah.
play, he needs to sit out. But if he's able to play, we do need him in these next 4 games, at least the next 2. That was the point I was going to bring up earlier. If we can win the next 2, our chances for the playoffs are like, I would imagine, in the 90s percentage wise.
Yeah.
You win the next 2, go 10. You'd be 10-5. A lot of these teams that are 7-6, and I'm hoping we can get into this a little later. A lot of these teams are 6 teams that are 7-6. They will start to beat each other out. And I don't want to get into that spiel just yet, but you win the next 2, you have a very good chance of making the playoffs. And if you got Dale put in those first 2 games, if something's happened to where he needs to absolutely just lay back in the last 2, it's one of those break glass in case of emergency type things.
Yeah. But since we're just talking about all these injuries piling up and all that, let's recap the game that we just watched on Sunday. Let's recap that a little bit. Can we just talk about how David Njoku balled out? I mean, I've voiced my opinion on him. I thought that he's had a rough stretch there for a little bit. And I was like, man, I mean, he's been dropping the ball quite a bit. He needs to hit the jugs, catch a little bit better. And then he comes out on Sunday, absolute monstrous game, 9 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
So, Dave, what did you see from the Browns on Sunday?
Well, I think you're absolutely on the spot with David Njoku. And, I cut him some slack. I mean, let's remember the dude burned like 60% of his body and played an NFL football game like the next day or 2 after that in bandages. Yeah. I mean, he's tougher than nails. That proved his commitment to this team and winning to me.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the solidification for me to be a David Njoku fan for life. After he did that. So, but I know he has had some tough games. He has had some critical drops in key moments. I know he's not happy with those, but you're absolutely right, Christian. He balled out, and you got to pin a medal on his chest for sure. But really, I mean, this season was over before we brought in Joseph Flacco, Shane Falco, whatever you want to call him. All right. Before we brought in Joe Flacco, this season was over. We were going to watch being the number 1 wild card seed and watch us completely fall out of the playoffs and have utter disarray on this team. Flacco coming in has absolutely stabilized the Browns. It gives us a chance to win, although he's still making a few big mistakes in key moments. For the most part, he gives us a chance to win any game we play in. And I think for the first time, we could actually think he gives us a chance to win in the playoffs, not just these remaining regular season games, but with Flacco and no more injuries on defense, we actually have the opportunity to win in the playoffs. And I think giving us that hope, it's kind of like Christmas came early. That's why I'm wearing my Santa hat. Other than we just got done at being at a holiday party. But yeah, Joe Flacco showing up and showing that he still has a chip on his shoulder. He absolutely still has a fire to play football. And luckily, we're going to be able to witness him being able to demonstrate that and hopefully take us into the playoffs and beyond. So I couldn't be more thrilled seeing what I've seen from Joe Flacco.
Yeah. We caught lightning in a bottle, if you will. And sorry to interrupt you, Dave, if you were still talking. Sorry.
No, I'm good. You're good, Jake.
But yeah, we lucked up, and that's something that Cleveland Browns fans are not used to. We're not used to things like this happening. Usually it's, at this point we've lost the last 5 in a row. Our chances are already done. I remember in 2014 when we were 7-4 and we thought we were going to win the division. We lost the last 6 games. Was it the last 6? Last 5, sorry.
Yep.
We lost the last 5 games of the year, and we were just like, oh, the season's over. And this is like the complete opposite. So I'm hoping I don't want to call it the curse, but I'm hoping that the luck stays. Let me say it like that. I'm hoping the luck stays.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And those wheels can come off at any moment, Jake. We've seen Joe Flacco play terribly. Yeah. Look absolutely horrible.
That's why Lamar's running things in Baltimore
Right,
now.
Lamar was his replacement, and that
Yeah,
just shows you how long ago Flacco was with the Ravens. But um, those wheels can come off awfully quick, and like Jake said, hopefully this lightning stays in the bottle just through the end of the season, whatever that last game might look like.
yeah.
And Drew brought up a good point in Shelby Harris season. I think that's something we can apply to Andrew Berry for in the
Hmm.
offseason.
Big
You know,
time.
like
Yep.
Yeah,
getting that depth. Like last year, our D tackle room was awful. Like I mean, outside or just even across the board, just on the front four, it was pretty bad. Like I mean, Jadeveon Clowney's doing his thing in Baltimore this year, but last year he wasn't that good. He wasn't that good for the Browns last year. And
mm-mm.
then like the only one that was really doing anything was Miles. Then you had like Tavon Austin, or not Tavon Austin. I wish we had Tavon Austin, but Tavon Bryant. Um, I can't even think of the rest of the guys' names. Jordan
Yeah,
Elliott. I mean, he
that's
wasn't
how
that good last
significant
year.
they were. We forgot their names already.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
that's a
lot.
bad thing
Tommy
to say.
Togiai played a huge role.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Uh, so I mean, and when you like guys like Mo Hurst come in, Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, and like we're pretty deep in the D tackle, and like we haven't even really saw our third round pick Siaki Ika play, and so we might get to see him activated for the first time this year, or second time, or however many times he's been
yeah,
active. We've not really saw him this year.
right.
But he might get some playing time now. And I think that just shows how deep this team is when you're willing to set out a third round pick this long into the season.
That is true.
But
That is true.
yeah,
We're not
that is,
desperate enough to where he has to hit the field right away. That's a good point.
that is a good point.
yeah,
Yeah,
and but Drew also brought up another great point. We did bring up Sam Kamara. He said called our thinking Ogbo Okoronkwo might be hurt enough to miss this week.
Yep,
yeah,
that might be a sign of that, unfortunately. Yep.
Yeah,
yeah. Let's hope
but
not. But
we
yeah,
yeah for sure. Um, But oh, going back to the game on Sunday, just
The
recapping that.
game.
Like you said, the game. Like you said, Jake earlier, the defense does show out at home. We saw just a massive game from Martin Emerson and Greg Newsom, just locking up some pretty good receivers. I mean, I think I saw a stat. They only allowed a 23.8 passer rating on Sunday and had 3 combined picks against
That
a
both of
fairly
them.
good quarterback. I know he was hurt. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Newsom still
I mean,
drives me crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
he had a pretty good game. I mean I'm kind of back and forth on Newsom. I can't wait till we get back Ward. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean
big
he had a pretty solid game on Sunday. The secondary, as depleted as it was, like I mean we lost Grant Delpit in that game, and then we had to call on Ronnie Hickman. He played
Mhm.
quite a bit. We got other guys running around back there. The Anthony Bell played quite a bit. I mean, it's time to see who can step up. Like, I mean, that's what this defense is, man. It's like the next man up. I think Miles Garrett said that. Um, but an interesting name off the practice squad for the Browns at the safety is Deron Harmon, former Patriot, 3-time Super Bowl winner. He is on our practice squad right now, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him get elevated sometime
Didn't
this
we
week.
signed him just within the last few weeks? Correct.
Yeah, we signed him when Ronnie McLeod went out.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
be a good addition, and I like that Andrew Berry is signing the players that are needed in moments like this, like getting Joe Flacco, getting Harmon, getting these other players. Last year, he was not doing that. If he'd have done that last year, we could have been a playoff team last year. But now we're
Yeah.
getting players that we need in these crucial moments, and it's making a difference. If I mean, like Dave was saying, if you don't have Joe Flacco, I don't think this team has a chance of making the
I
playoffs.
don't either.
No.
Flacco is basically resurrected the season in that sense. So
Yep.
Yeah. And I think his presence just as a leader, like the dude's seen it all. I mean, he's been to the peak. I mean, he is a Super Bowl MVP. Like, I mean, when you have
yeah,
that level of a quarterback, people can be like, okay, we can get behind this cat.
yeah,
We can go do this thing. And so when you got that guy in there that can just lead a locker room, that helps tremendously.
yep,
And it's just such a good sight to see. And he's our fourth quarterback starting this year, and we're 8-5. I just can't say it enough, man. That makes me so happy inside. Like to
Yeah.
know that we are 8-5. Everything's been against us this year as far as the injury bug. Like we've lost. I think I told you the other day, Jake. I think we've lost like what 7 starters this year on the offensive side of the ball.
Yes, 7 on the offensive side of the ball. You take Jed, Chubb, Watson, Conklin. That's 4. Um,
Well, now
Posick,
Dwanja.
Posick.
which
Yeah,
Posick we don't know about Posick yet, but
yeah. It's the jury's out on him.
yeah, I want to say 7 is the exact number. I can't remember the exact 7, but
Or,
yes, 7.
yeah. Well, Mari Cooper is possible. I think when I told you that, it was possible that Mari Cooper wasn't going to play, but
And
he
don't
toughed it out.
forget, we haven't had DPJ in about what, a month and a half.
Yep.
So think of what
Tillman's
he
been
would be
balling.
doing with Flacco right now if we had him.
I think Tillman's been playing pretty solid.
Tillman has been playing solid. I believe that, and he's going to get better. But right now, in this moment, in this year,
There we go.
what would DPJ be doing with Flacco right now with DPJ's experience in the NFL? But
I'm not so
that's a new point.
sold on DPJ because I mean, going into when we traded him, he only had 98 yards on the year, and he's really not done anything with the Lions either. Um,
Could be the case.
yeah, but I think they were more comfortable moving on from DPJ
Yeah,
and putting Tillman in that role when he's done pretty solid, I'd say.
for a rookie, absolutely.
Yeah, but moving forward, we'll keep going on because we do have a big game on Sunday
Yes.
versus the Bears. The injury bug is out. We've said this numerous times on this episode alone. How confident are you guys going in versus the Bears for the Week 15 matchup?
You go first, Dave.
I'm even though the Bears are definitely peaking right now. Justin Fields is definitely back and injury free, at least from what I saw. I think we can score on their defense,
Yeah.
and that's going to be the saving grace. And really, we need our defense to show out. We need them to lock down and put the clamps on them as best we can, especially being at home. We know how our defense has been at home versus the road this year.
Yeah.
Things to note: that defense has slid all the way to 14th ranked, I think, right now, or at least what I was looking at PFF wise. So there's been a considerable slide, especially in those two away losses that we had.
Mhm.
And I think this is the game right here to where this defense can reestablish itself as being elite, and it would be the perfect time too to start making this playoff run and getting that swagger back on defense. So
Yep.
my thing is, I think our offense can score points. We've proven we can score points with Flacco. He can get the ball down the field. I think we're going to score points. It's really going to be up to the defense, but I really feel confident that the Browns could defend the home territory here and come away with the W.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
I'm feeling pretty confident myself. Now, that being said, I don't want to walk in thinking that we're just going to beat the doors off of them just because we beat a good Jacksonville team. We've still got to show up. We
Yeah.
still got to do our thing. I think a few key players are going to have to step up. I know he's been injured as well. You don't want to add him to the injured list, but he has been playing hurt. I think Myles Garrett's going to have another game like he did the last time we played Chicago when he had 4
sure.
sacks.
Yep.
He's got to have that type of game. And I feel like that he can, because I don't feel like Chicago's offensive line is all that great. I don't know the PFF stats, but I don't think Chicago's O-line is all that cracked up. And I feel like this front 7 can pressure Justin Fields. I know the Bears have been peaking lately, but I don't think they've played a front 7 like ours. I don't think the Lions front 7 is as good as ours. I don't. I'm talking like as far as linebackers and linemen put together.
Yeah.
I think we have a smarter defense. We know how to read certain coverages, but way better than last year. Even when you watch the replays, I feel like our defenses are smarter and know what's going to happen. And with a young team like Chicago, I think that will pressure them, distract them, etc. Um, on the offensive side of the ball, I feel like we're going to have to be a little more run heavy. Um, I mean, passing the ball has been great the past 2 games with Los Angeles. It was good. But I think we're going to have to go back to running the ball just a little bit, assuming Jerome Ford comes back. Um, don't get too crazy with the play calls as far as trick plays and stuff of that nature. But if we just play our game, I feel like we should win. Don't turn the ball over, of course. We were fortunate enough to win the game with 3 turnovers. Was it 3? I'm pretty sure it was 3 turnovers.
4.
4? Well, 4 turnovers, and we still won the game. So if we can just be conservative, we should win this game. Should.
Yeah.
Oh, we forced 4. We had 3. Sorry.
Oh, so we did have 3?
Yeah, we had 3.
Okay.
But yeah, I
think the Bears
agree
defense, without Roquan Smith, nobody fears the Bears defense.
This is true.
Roquan Smith was a massive loss for that defense. So,
that defense has been tough this year. It's been low key good. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to him, but I've watched a little bit. Dude, when they got Montez Sweat in there, they've picked it up since him. Their secondary's not atrocious. They don't have like a top tier defense or anything, but their defense, I would say it's top 20. They have their moments. I mean, these guys are in the NFL. You got to respect that. But
would it be better with Roquan Smith, though, for the record?
Oh yeah, I mean, any defense would be better with Roquan Smith. Our defense would be better with Roquan Smith.
And is Roquan Smith not a Baltimore Raven?
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly.
All right.
Sadly. But going back to your point that you said, Jake, about the run game, I do believe that we need to go back to that a little bit more this week. But I think that Pierre Strong should get some more carries. I think the dude's deserved his shot to get some more carries. The way he runs, the burst that he has out of the backfield, he sees the field better. He can make adjustments, hit the holes correctly. And that's one thing I think that Jerome Ford struggles with is when he tries to cut outside, he struggles with finding that hole. And then he kind of tiptoes, and then he doesn't find it. And then when he does find it, it's too late. He's already got a defensive player on him.
Yeah.
I think that he should get a shot, just not like starting role, but I think he should move up to about 5, 6, 7 carries, somewhere in there. I'd like to see his role go up. But I think Jerome Ford's he's a decent running back. I'm not going to knock on him. He can get the yards. I mean, he does have, I think, close to 700 yards this year. Yeah. So, I mean, he's been a solid back for us.
He's going to be a great backup to Chubb for the next 2 years.
Agreed.
That's what he's going to be. He's going to be a good backup for Chubb the next 2 years.
Agreed. And he got put in a pretty tough position, especially when Chubb went down in the second game of the season. He struggled at first, but game by game, you can tell he's learning more and more. He's picking it up here and there, adjusting to the NFL speed, if you will, because he played at Cincinnati, and I mean, Cincinnati's strength of schedule college-wise was not as near as tough as.
He also played at Bama.
Well, the majority of his career, or the bulk of his career, let me say that, was with Cincy. And that's when that was what gave him the draft stock that he had. And bottom line.
It gave him the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got what you're saying, bro.
But one point that I was going to bring out, I do expect us to run the ball, but back to the Bears passing game. If they start to get pressured, they will have to go to the run. And right now they are 4th in the league in the run game. We're 3rd, they're 4th. And I feel like our run defense over the last few weeks has kind of dropped off a little, not a lot. So we need to lock back up on that run defense. I know that's easier said than done, especially with Maurice Hurst out. And a couple of key players still injured. But that's one thing that we're going to have to lock back up on.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing, like, for the defense is you got to be able to contain when they do drop back. When Justin Fields drops back, he's getting ready to pass. You've got to be able to contain him and keep him from scrambling, because that's what makes him dangerous, is that option where he can just roll out, get yardage on the ground. Yeah, dude's insanely fast, and he can score at will when he gets when he gets out of the pocket and he rolls out, dude, he can easily take you for 15, 20 yards
This is true.
with ease. He's just so quick.
Yeah.
But that's why I think JOK is going to have a monstrous game on Sunday. I think they're going to have him tracking because, when we drafted him, everybody
QB's by him
said,
the whole game.
yeah. And when he was drafted, everybody they're putting that label on him as the Lamar stopper. Justin Fields has that same skill set. I mean, he's not quite as good as Lamar, but he has that same skill set. So he's gonna be trying to run out, and then JOK's gonna come up, bop him. So
I see what you're saying.
I think JOK's gonna have a big game.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Justin Fields, I don't feel like he's not as athletic as Lamar, but I do feel like he has a better throwing arm than Lamar. And in certain plays, he can put the ball way better than Lamar where it needs to go. And DJ Moore is on one of the sides of the field. And that's why I'm hoping Denzel Ward comes back this week.
We need Denzel.
You were mentioning JOK in the sense of Justin Fields, but the whole time I was also thinking Denzel Ward in the sense of DJ Moore. I don't think Greg Newsome can guard him. I just don't.
See, I think they put Martin Emerson on him. I think they put Martin Emerson on him.
If Denzel Ward does not play, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah. I mean, Martin Emerson's had a killer year. I mean, that pickup in the 3rd round last year in the draft might have been the best pick. Might have been the best pick he's ever had. I think that's the best pick Barry's had for the Browns so far.
I would agree.
You definitely put it up there.
Emerson and JOK, those are your 2 best picks right now.
Well, I mean, like the value, which I mean, JOK was considered a 1st round. Like, I mean, he was considered top 15. We got him in the 2nd. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, like the late 3rd round, you get Martin Emerson, and now he's like, I mean, other than Denzel, I mean, he's your 2nd best DB.
Yeah.
So.
But
like you said, we do. Oh yeah, for sure. We do need Denzel back though. We gotta have Denzel this week.
Yeah, because Greg Newsome can't play outside. I know he wants to tell everybody he can play outside, but he can't. He needs to be back in the slot where he's most effective. And anytime he's sitting on that outside and Denzel's out, there's always 3 or 4 plays that he's going to get absolutely smoked.
Yep.
Sometimes he likes to tackle, sometimes he doesn't. I don't understand Greg Newsome because it seems like he has a lot of fire and a lot of personality, but he reminds me of John Johnson III, man. He's just a lot of talk, and there's a lot of off plays for him, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I would agree with Dave on that. I'm honestly thinking the same thing as what Dave's thinking, and truthfully, the biggest thing with Newsome is consistency. He'll have a really good game. He'll have a really bad game. Now, this past week, I feel like he played pretty decent. He played pretty good. In the Ravens game, oh my gosh, he was outstanding in this game. But when we played the Rams,
Denver,
honestly, I think that was just a random guy they got on the street that just wore his jersey for that game or something.
Yeah, like an alien abducted him.
He just didn't show up in that game.
He got burnt both games on that.
And nobody
West Coast
celebrates
trip.
better than he does. He has the best celebrations and the most fire.
Oh yeah, sure.
But he takes off. I mean, he frustrates me, man.
I agree, Dave. You and I have the same mindset on him.
Yeah. Which I thought Cam Mitchell did pretty good in his role on
too.
Sunday too.
Yep, that's a big person
solid.
to come back.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid. I mean, the only really miscue I've seen from him, like that really, really stood out to me this year, was that drop pick 6 that he could have had against Seattle. But I mean, other than that, he's been really solid. Defense, I mean, on that West Coast trip, I mean, you're just like, where is the defense? Like, what happened to them? So it's just like it's night and day when they're on, like when they're away and then when they play at home. But hopefully they can start stepping it up when we start playing these road games, because we do have I believe we have 2 games on the road to finish the season. 2 more at home, 2 more on the road. But
we just got to go one at a time right now, though. Because
I tell you what, you guys might as well go ahead and make the trip Sunday and come watch the Bears game. I mean, what else you got going on Sunday?
I got work.
Jake.
I already told
Yeah.
Christian I wanted to do that game. There were
Let's
2
use a
games I
couple of
wanted
them
to
Yeah.
do.
points. Let's
I
use a
wanted to
couple
do
of
the
them
Bears
points.
game, and I really wanted
Hey.
to do the Jets game. I can't do the Bears game, and Christian can't do the Jets game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You sure, Jake? You're
Everyone-
looking a little sick to me, man. I know it's only Tuesday, but I mean, you look like you might be by Saturday. You could be pretty rough. Like,
yeah,
you might want to just let work know, hey, something bad's coming, and
I'm
it'll
not
probably
feeling
hit me.
the greatest right now today.
Yeah,
I'm not
Jake's
feeling
Jake's
good.
doing that MJ flu game right now.
Yeah, Christian, our original plan, we were going to actually do this podcast from our church, and then I'm thinking I'm not getting him sick.
I'm sorry to hear that. And I was just joking. You don't look
Oh
sick.
no, you're fine. You're
Okay.
fine.
but
I should be good by the morning, but I'm just taking it day by day.
if somebody wants to send me and Jake tickets, I'll man it up and I'll drive the whole way, and we'll come back on that Sunday.
It's a Sunday game.
Yeah, like I mean, right after the
Saturday game, because at this point last year, don't mean to segue off, but at this point last year, Christian and I was getting ready to go to the Ravens game, and it was a Saturday game. Man, was that fun!
Yep,
that was a great game.
That was probably my favorite Browns game I've ever been to.
Yeah,
solid. Yep. But yeah, like you
maybe
said,
one
the game's
day,
on
James.
stuff. Yeah, we'll all link up and go to a Browns game together.
Oh yeah.
But back to the game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the defense. This game's gonna be on the defense. I think that Joe Flacco, just his motor and just the way he leads the team. I think he's gonna be solid on Sunday once again. I don't know if he'll be doing 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, but I think he'll do his due diligence to get us a win. I think he'll be solid. I would say he'll put up about 2 touchdowns, 250.
I could see that.
Yeah, and that gives us a chance to win, and that's exactly what Joe Flacco is going to do. He's going to make 1 or 2 mistakes a game, but he's going to play consistent enough to give you a chance to win as long as we don't turn the ball over too much and the defense can play decent.
Yep,
that's all we need him to do.
Yeah, he doesn't have to put up superstar numbers.
Yeah, for sure. A little tidbit for you guys. So Amari Cooper is sitting at 876 yards on the season. 124 more yards. And he is the first wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns to go back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Huh.
The only other person to have those back-to-back stats were Ozzie Newsome, who was a tight end. So this would make Amari Cooper the first wide receiver to ever do that.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
That is just mind-blowing. And you think of all the wide receivers that have came through Cleveland that you would have expected.
Yeah, I mean, there's been guys that have had multiple 1,000-yard receiving seasons, but none of them have had back-to-back.
Yeah. I would have expected
Josh Gordon
to have back-to-back. Or Josh Gordon, yes. Think of that.
Well, the weed.
I know he had 1,600 one year.
Yeah, and then that next year he got suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I really thought Jarvis would have had it, but I think his stats were so close. Like he was real close. I think he had like 900 one year, and then that last year he was with us, he was down a year. But I remember that Odell year, he was.
Let me just pet my Jarvis.
I think that was the best year he ever had.
Okay,
I believe.
Jarvis. It's okay.
Jarvis was a dog. I wouldn't mind us bringing him back in either.
Trying on my desk
as the season.
Huh?
Yeah, he's a dog. He was a dog. Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only dog we had. That was the problem.
I miss Jarvis.
He resurrected. Well, I won't say he resurrected, but he led the charge in 2018 there. We needed a guy like him to just kind of get these kids up and do their job. And, we've come a long way since that year for sure. So
we have. Yep. You're right, Jake.
But, yeah, I guess moving forward, not only to the Browns game, but this weekend. And one thing that I did want to mention was we do have a lot of games coming up in the sense that the playoff implications are getting higher and higher and higher. So if you are a Browns fan watching this podcast right now, Saturday is a big day for us. You've got the Vikings and the Bengals at 1:00 on NFL Network.
Yep.
We want the Vikings to win that game. Now, of course, is it a must win? Is our season dependent on it? No. But the more space we can get, the better.
Yeah.
So we want the Vikings to win at 1:00. I have an uncle that's a Vikings fan, so I'll be supporting him as well. Then at 4:30, this is going to be an interesting one, and I want to hear some opinions on this one. At 4:30, we got the Steelers and the Colts. Who should we root for in that game?
It's going to definitely be the Colts because Fluff Pittsburgh. I hope they go down a toilet bowl, and I hope the stadium I hope the stadium gets I hope the sewer lines bust in the bottom of it so it just smells like poop. I hope it just smells like poop. They never can fix it. Like I hope this septic tank just busts and the sewer lines just bust. They can never recover and they have to just tear down the whole stadium to fix it. And that they're never the same again.
Christian, that is so not nice of you to do. Listen,
but
these Steelers fans are some of the nicest, most kindest fans you'll ever want to meet. They don't ever say bad things about the Browns.
Dave, if you're in trouble and need help, just let us know.
Blink twice.
Now.
Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead.
But going back before, I had to go to the stat dungeon and leave for like 0.5 seconds. I did look up Jarvis Landry's stats. Okay. He did not have 2,000 or two back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He was close. In 2018, he had 976. 976. The next year, he had 1,174, and then the year after that, he had 840.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was close, but
close to a trifecta, actually.
Yeah, close, but no cigar.
Yeah, but you got the Steelers and Colts Saturday at 4:30. Right now, if the playoffs started this weekend, the Steelers are actually the 6 and the Colts are the 7. So me personally, I'm going to be rooting for the Colts. The only reason I was asking that question was because the Steelers season, we don't know what's going to happen there in the sense that they've already lost to 2 awful teams back to back. That one win could help the Colts come down a little bit, and we would expect the Steelers to just kind of wet the bed. But in this case, for this week in particular, the Colts give us a better chance because we beat the Colts. If we tie with the Colts, we own the tiebreaker. And the last game at 8:15 on NFL Network, Broncos versus Lions. A Lions win also puts us in much better position to make the playoffs as well if we were to lose a couple of games because the Broncos own the tiebreaker over us.
Yeah, I hope Dan Campbell has him.
A little upset that game.
Yeah, I hope the Lions I hope Dan Campbell has the Lions ready to go bite some kneecaps off. Hope he has them boys ready. Hope we need the Lions to win. Mm-hmm. I just want to feel comfortable about that lead. I hope we win on Sunday, and then everybody else loses except the Colts. Hope they win because we, like you said, Jake, we do own that tiebreaker if it does come down to that. But I want to see Pittsburgh lose.
Yeah,
like I don't hate them. I just dislike them so close. Like here's the line for hate, and then this is my dislike for them. Like I mean, it like French kisses the line. So I just want to see them implode because after last week's game, they were calling for Mike Tomlin's head.
Dude, I wish they would fire Mike Tomlin. Oh, they're so stupid. They're so stupid.
Oh, Jake went. I
got put in the dark for a couple of seconds.
What happened?
Somebody turned the lights out on me. Oh. But yeah, that was so weird. The whole Mike Tomlin thing. I mean, the guy took a third-string quarterback the year Big Ben was out the entire season, had a winning season. The man has never had a losing season as a head coach in Pittsburgh in all of his years of coaching. And this year, he still has a chance to not have a losing record. Yeah. Now, this might be the first year, but, I mean, even if he goes 8-9 with what he's had to work with, Steelers fans are crazy.
They are crazy. Crazy.
He is
an outstanding coach. Christian, you like Mike Tomlin. Don't lie.
Oh yeah, he's a dog.
he
I don't
is
know
a
why.
dog,
Like
dude.
he's a dog. I mean, the way he
Yeah.
commands a team, and just those sunglasses he wears, those aviators he wears on the sideline, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
So when he's coaching the Vaders, the Las Vegas Raiders next year, let's
That'd
call
be
them the
great.
I
Vaders.
don't know
Yeah.
that
Put
it'll
him in
be
the
the
NFC.
Raiders. I think it'll be the Bears.
Yeah, put him in the NFC.
No, that's Jim Harbaugh.
You think he's going to go?
Oh yeah, Harbaugh's going to Chicago, dude. It's happening.
If
I
I'm
mean, he was
Harbaugh,
a
I'm not
Chicago
going
Bear
with
back when he
Harbaugh.
played, so
I think that's
That's
happening.
true.
Um,
That's true.
but going to the closing part of this great episode we've had a lot of fun here. I figured we'd just make this one a quick one tonight. But before we go into this last segment, me and Jake will be going on a game preview on Sunday morning at 8. We will be starting that at 8 a.m. Going to go through the stats, little game day breakdown, what's going to happen. And so if you're up at 8 a.m., if you're not already in the Muni Light, go ahead and tune in with us. We'll be taking some questions, be live from the same place. Something new for Down with the Browns.
I like it.
nice.
But going into the final segment, it's a new one that I like to do. It's called "Put This on Your Parlay." I know there's a lot of people that like to do sports betting. I am one of them. And so are you. So let's continue with this. But what is one stat line if you were going to build a parlay that you would want to hammer, that you think's just no brainer, it's gonna happen?
Jake, I'll let you go first.
Oh gosh, I was hoping you would.
Okay, I'll start.
Go ahead.
So
Go
Way
ahead.
to take one
the
for the
first one I'm gonna say is Amari Cooper, 50 plus yards. You can go into them all reception things. Go to Amari Cooper, hit the plus for the 50 yards. I think he's gonna get that. Go ahead and hammer that, because Joe Flacco does like to throw the football. He's pretty good at it. And Amari Cooper's our best receiver, so he's going to target him. So I'm going to say Amari Cooper 50 plus. How about you, Dave?
Man. Oh, you know what? I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say I don't know what the lines are on these things, but I would say Justin Fields over 50 yards rushing. And I know that's just wrong to pick a Bears player for these parlays, but I just feel like he's going to get out of the pocket a few times on us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We're way too heavy pressure for him not to bust off a couple big ones on us.
Yeah. So right now the line is set at 3.5. The over is set at 37.5. So they're expecting that. And the money lines right now are Cleveland Browns are favored minus 178. Chicago is plus 150. So, Jake, what is one stat line that you would say to hammer on your parlay this week?
I would say Myles Garrett 2 sacks.
Oh, there you go.
Because I
2
think
sacks.
he's due a big game. He seems to have his better games. I think he had more than one good game against the Bears.
Back his rookie year.
That's it. That was his rookie year. I forgot about that.
Where he about had that pick six.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I couldn't remember
He got
what year it
called
was,
back.
but it seems to be the team that he has his best games against. So give me Garrett for 2 sacks. He's due another breakout game. He's been effective on defense, but not as effective as what he wants to be. He wants to be in the backfield every time. I don't think the offensive line's going to hold him as much as these other offensive lines hold him every play, and the refs don't call it. So give me Garrett 2 sacks, maybe even more. Who knows?
Oh,
I mean,
sweet.
nobody goes up the field and then comes back to grab escaping quarterbacks for sacks better than Myles Garrett. So,
It's true.
he
He's so
probably
quick.
will get a couple on fields that way.
Yeah, for sure. But thanks, guys, for hopping on tonight. Thank you guys for listening tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Uh, we have all our socials in all the bios, so you can find us through there if you want to personally message any of us. If you want to listen to this or any other episodes from Down with the Browns, it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts at. Um, Thank you guys for listening once again, and go
Go
Browns.
Browns.
Go Browns.